Welcome to the Online Talks program. My name is Jacek Leszczyński and it's my honor to introduce my guest, who is Ada Lang, General Manager of EdSale Exhibition Services. As you can guess, we're going to talk about the China Plus Trade Fair. Good afternoon, Ada.
Good afternoon, Jacek. Thank you very much for your invitation.
The first question. This year's edition of China Plus recently came to the end. Until a few months ago, China remained closed due to the pandemic situation, but you decided to organize this exhibition. What are your first impressions after that?
Amazing. Yeah, I think everything is very amazing. In China, the pandemic was being put under control within a very short period of time. Daily lives and businesses resumed normal very quickly. So at that time, in our contact with our exhibitors and visitors, we could feel that most of the participants, they are very longed for a physical show, the physical show of China Plus. Despite the fact that in recent years, the trend of digitalization become more and more popular, but we can see that it cannot replace the face-to-face meeting and contact between people. So all are very looking forward to the show, and now we are very happy that China Plus was successfully held in Shenzhen last month. And we heard a lot of good responses good feedback from the participants. And now we are still very happy and very excited from the show. And we are very glad that China Plus has provided a platform for international trade and technical exchange to resume for the industry.
So then let's move on to the numbers. How many exhibitors presented their products? And the most important thing, how many trade visitors came there?
Yes, this year we had 3,905 exhibitors from 40 countries and regions. And for the visitors, is a new record for China Plus this year. We had almost 250,000 international visitors, and which is over 52% increase of China Plus 2019 in Guangzhou, and over 60%, about 63% increase of the last Shenzhen China Plus in 2021. Yeah. So to us, is a new record in China Plus history.
There were obviously global brands at China Plus, but I also saw the many smaller companies from Europe. Unfortunately, this time I didn't see companies from Poland, but maybe in the future. Can we say that China Plus Fair has an international scale again?
Yes, indeed, because China Plus is the international exhibition on plastics and rubber industries for the global industry. So the international level is very high. And just now I mentioned we have 3,905 exhibitors from 40 countries and regions. In fact, among them, there were 9 country or region pavilions, and they were organized by Austria, France, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, United States of America, the United Kingdom, as well as Japan and the Taiwan region. Yeah. So whereas on the visitor side, we had about 30,000 visitors from overseas, although not yet back to the past level of overseas visitors, but already superseded, I think 50% of the past. And we also had 40 overseas buyer delegations organized by the Industry Association and the end user associations from the countries of like Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, India, Pakistan, Russia, and also South Korea. Yeah. So you can say that the international level was very high in this year's China Plus.
And which sectors of plastics industry were most represented at the fair?
At China Plus, you can find all kinds of technology from the whole supply chain of the industry, meaning that ranging from raw materials to machinery and also to semi-finished and finished products. Out of our 3,900 exhibitors, in fact, 65% are the machine makers, and over 30% are the raw material suppliers. And this year, for the first time, we set up the Innovative Products Zone, where over 120 semi-finished and finished product exhibitors displayed their products at the show. So you can see this is roughly the proportion of the supplier, the plastic technology supplier, as well as the other suppliers. They participate at the show. At the fair, in fact, you would see all kinds of machinery like injection, extrusion, blow molding, or smart manufacturing. Whereas for the materials, all sorts of materials ranging from general plastics, engineering plastics, bioplastics, recycled plastics, or even thermoplastic elastomers, some composites and special performance materials. Yeah. And whereas for the products, different kinds of high performance products, the functional films or the eco-friendly products. So this year we had over 200 technologies made their first debut, made their world or Asia debut at the show.
How do you mentioned and also I could see the number of companies and the range of solutions presented at the fair was really impressive. So that's the question is, how do you assess the Chinese plastics industry nowadays?
I think the trade fairs speak for the industries they are representing. And from trade fairs, one can know the latest development, the market needs, and also the future trends of the industry. So as far as the China's plastics industry is concerned, I think from this year's show, for example, the visitor attendance, I think you know that for China Plus this year, the first 2 days, the visitor number already superseded the number of the entire fair of our last event in Shenzhen in 2021. And the total number of visitors almost 250,000. So from here, the visitor attendance, you can see the vitality of the market, or even the huge demand from the market. Yeah, and whereas just now I introduced the exhibits at the fair. You can see all kinds of technology, and these technologies, they're actually applying to many different application industries like automotive, electronics, medical, packaging, or even aviation, railways, etc. So from here, you can see that the market itself, the demand from the market. In China, we always need to understand the policies from the Chinese government. And the Chinese government, they are continuing to promote about high quality development, the upgrade and the transformation of the manufacturing industries. Yeah. So these will drive further demand for smart solutions, for the advanced technologies. Yeah. Whereas there is also the dual carbon policy being put forward by the Chinese government. So in future, eco-friendly green solutions, low carbon solutions are the concern of the market, and the demand will also be high. And you should know very well about the Greater Bay development strategy of the country to develop the Greater Bay Area into our high-end innovation research center. So these all tell you that internally within the China market, the future development will be very good and is towards good demand for the high tech, the high end technologies. And whereas for externally, this year is the second year of the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. So in future, the trading relationship between China and the RCEP member countries will continue to grow with the lowering in the trade tariff. So all these factors will give us a lot of confidence to the Chinese market, the China market, and as well as the China's plastics industry.
Okay, Ms. Ada, I would like to thank you once again for this impressive event, and hopefully the pandemic will not return and the political situation in the world will calm down. What are your plans for next year China Plus?
Next year's China Plus will return to Shanghai in April 23 to 26. And we have, I think for both the exhibitors and the visitors, they have a very big expectation of the event because it will be after 6 years since 2018 that we are returning to Shanghai. Yeah. At this year's China Plus, we already received very good response. A lot of space bookings on the China Plus 2024 received from our exhibitors. So we already started to feel excited about the event, which will come in 1 year's time.
Okay, thank you. See you at China Plus.
Thank you, Jacek. Thank you, and see you very soon.